Okay. So if you have the internet with you and if you don't have any compiler, and you can use, then you can use this online C++ compiler. Don't use the pen and paper for writing the program. The pen and paper writing for a program, it is very good one for C programming. But to check the output, is it working or not? Does it having any type of the error or warning? You have to check it with one of the compiler. Okay. Suppose this is one of my program I have done. Second one, create new file. Suppose I'm saving this program, yes, and then again create new project, yes, leave, and it will create a new project. It will create a new project. Now again save it, save that one, and so sign in with the Google. If it is already signed, then it will not asking. Okay, the same thing actually you can do it. If you sign in, the previous project is with you. Suppose if I log in with the Google Plus, whatever the pre-existing project that you have done, you can get it from here itself. My projects. So these are my projects, class example. Just open it and you will have that. Hello Ganesh. Okay, even you can download that C++ file from here. Download the code. Just download, and the CPP file you will get it here in my download window. So try all the programs. Try all the programs in this online GDB.
Yes,
if
sir.
you don't have the compiler installed in your compiler, or you can do the same. You can use the same online GDB in your smartphone again. Open the onlinegdb.com in your Google Chrome from your smartphone. You can write that program, you can run that program, you can save the project, and you can share me that link of your program. No need to send the whole CPP file. When I click on that file, it will be, your program will be automatically open, and I can directly run that file. Okay, it is perfectly valid. So you can see here how that C language batch has shared me the program. Yes, Devika. Yes, you can see here Devika how she has sent me the assignments. onlinegdb.com and this link. If I open it, I will get it the code. Okay, I'm getting the code, as well as if I want to run this, I can directly run it, and I'm getting the output here. Okay, so this type of submission actually I want from your side. Okay, so Akhilesh.
Sir, once can you check in draft, sir?
Pardon?
Can you check my mail in draft, sir?
Draft, draft or spam?
Draft, sir.
No, draft. In my draft, actually, your mail is not there, because in a draft, actually, whatever my unsaved mail will be put in my draft. Your mail can be in spam, but never the important mails will not go into spam directly. Have you resent it? No. Okay, so let it be. Just send me the remaining. The remaining also has to be sent me. Abhimanyu, Yash, Pramod, Saurabh, Akhilesh, Akhil, Chandramohan, all has to send me whatever the assignment that I have given. You have to solve it rigorously. You have to solve it. You have one more day, I think. Or today is the last day. What day I have mentioned as the last day?
24th February.
Huh? Today, na? Today itself, na?
Yes.
Today itself, actually, I have given the last date. So you have not replied.
Yes, sir.
I only got these.
Sir, I have sent, sir. Just now I checked again.
Yeah. You can resend it or share me on WhatsApp. Okay. But those who have not sent me, what is the reason? Can you tell me? Just enable your microphone and tell me what is the problem with you. Enable your microphone and just tell me one by one. Saurabh Sri Kumar, tell me what is your problem? Yes, Saurabh, speak up. Pramod, why you're not speaking? The remaining one, why you're not speaking? Why you're not actively participating in the session? Yes. Ask all. Okay. Just unmute all. All has to unmute and tell me what is the problem. Yes. Yes, Akhilesh, can you tell me what is the problem with others?
Others, I don't know.
Hmm? Chandramohan, can you share me what is the problem with others? Why they are not actually taking the active participation?
Sir, I think so. They need some more time, sir.
More time means
So by tomorrow they'll finish.
for submission they need more time. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
if they ask me personally, then I can give you. Abhimanyu Reddy has asked me privately, that is, sir, by the end of the day, I will sending the given assignment. Then I can approve it. If they ask me privately or in the session itself, then I can only allow na. Saurabh Sri Kumar, can you on your mic and speak some words with me? Or otherwise, actually, if you are getting that, if C++ actually you selected the wrong stream of C++, because C++ actually learning the C++ require the very passion. C++ is not just like this Python or Java. Python, Java, these are the easiest language, but C++ is one of the, you can say that is a logical language. And there are the very more concepts available in C++ than the Python and Java, because it supports the object oriented as well as the procedure oriented languages. So there are at least 150 concepts are there. So you can switch to the C language then. You can switch to C language. Yes, Pudi Yash has also sent me. Need extra time or need more time tomorrow. For only that reason, actually, I have not conducted the yesterday class. You require time, so take that 2 hours time, 4 to 6. Take the 2 hours time and dedicatedly only attempt the C++ assignment in that time only.
So can you just help with that 4.20 program, sir? You sent?
Yeah.
4.19 I got.
Hmm. 4.19 you get, and 4.20 write a function that performs the same operation as that of exercise 4.19 but takes an integer value for m. Both
So just
functions should yes.
4.19 answer which I sent you. So even that is somewhat similar only what I
I will read out the first 4.19 again. Okay, so I will share here the screen. Okay, write a function power to raise a number sorry, write a function power to raise a number m to power n. Okay, so you need to write the function power function. Okay, the input is number m and power number n. Okay, 2 inputs. Then the next one is a function takes a double value for m and integer value for n. So what is the prototype? The prototype is power double m int n. Okay, and return the result correctly. Now what is the return type? Can you tell me what is the return type? If double value raised to integer, what is the result? It's double value.
yeah, double power.
Yeah, so what is the correct prototype of my power function? It is a double power in the bracket double m comma int n. Okay, getting? So use a default value 2 for n. So if the n is not passing, default value take it as a n. So my prototype becomes int n equal to 2. So take the default value to make a function to calculate square when this argument is omitted. Okay, write a main that gets the value m and n from the user to test the function. Okay, write a function. No, it is 4.19 is easy. Next one is write a function that performs the same operation as that of the exercise 1.9 but takes an int value for m. Both functions should have the same name. Okay, it means that you need to rewrite the power function again. So there are 2 power function in your program. In first power function is from the 4.19 which taking the first argument is float and second one is int. Second power function is the having the same name power but taking the 2 argument. First is integer, second is also integer. Okay, both functions should have the same name. Okay, that's why that is known as a function overloading. Write a main that calls the both function. Use the concept of function overloading. Okay, so what is the problem here?
So and function same name your for function overloading and calling to the 2 functions together. How do you do that, sir?
Calling the 2 function means one by one. So I will solve that program. Okay, because the same problem if you are getting the same problem other one also getting. I'm solving that program here. Okay, this class and this one gone. Now next one 4.19 we are solving. Okay, so double power and double and m comma integer n equal to 2. Yeah, default argument we need to do here int n equal to 2. Okay, now next one we need to use it. Okay, so how to use it? So power function, take the one double variable double A is equal to suppose 3.5 and integer B is equal to suppose 3. Okay, so for simplicity, for getting the answer, because I need to calculate, I'm taking the double as a 3.0. Okay, because 3 raised to 3 is 27 should be the answer, and the result is double RES. Okay, so how to call that for RES function, power function? RES is equal to power A comma B. Okay, and here the result should be printed. Result is equal to RES. Now next one is implementation of power function. Double power double m comma integer n. Okay, now next one is, now how to do that m raised to n? How to do the m raised to n? How to do m raised to n? So use for loop. For I is equal to 1, I less than or equal to n, I plus plus, and one variable we need,
X.
that is x variable. Yes, x is equal to 1. Okay, and what you need to, x is equal to x into
M.
m. Yes, correct. And then return x.
X.
Okay, return x should be
In the loop.
in the power, not in the loop, in the power. Return x. Okay, because after calculating the value, we need to return the x. Okay, now x is returned to RES and you will get an answer. So what should be my output? It should be 3 raised to 3. It is 27. So let me change my build system. It is C++. So result is, yeah, getting the output. The result is 27. 3 raised to 3 is 27. Okay. And suppose if I'm not giving this B, then if the B is not given, then it is calculating the, it is taking n value by default as a 2. Okay. If it is taking by default value as a 2, then n is 2. If n is equal to 2, then 3 raised to 2. The output should be 9. The output should be 9. Getting? Now this is 4.19 program. Now in a 4.20, you have to write the power function again. The same name you have to use, but the different argument list. Okay, different argument list. So both are taking the integers. Both are taking the integers. If integer raised to integer is always integer, so that's why I am taking here integer. Okay. Now you are redefining that program function, integer power, which is taking integer m comma integer n. Now the same program, I am writing. So here one change is there. It should be double x equal to 1.0. For integer it is correct. Okay. Now first function I have called here. If there is a double number, then it will be called here. So int a comma b. Okay. So which function get called here? Double variable. So you can get it here. You will get a accepted semicolon. The output is 27. Okay. Now I am calling the second one. For calling the second one, I need another variable. Suppose integer t is equal to 4 and integer d is equal to 3. Okay, and I'm using here integer variable I integer R, and R is equal to power T comma D. Okay, so here which function get called here? A comma B. Which function called? First one, because A is double, B is integer, so this function get called. Now you have written the second type of the function also, in which you are calling the T comma D. T and D both are integer, so this type of the function, the second type of the function get called here, second form of the function get called. Implementation is same, but here which function get called depends on the your argument list here, and you will get a result here R. Okay, so let me check the program. So where look at here, where first one is 27, second is 61. 4 raised to 3. 4 raised to 3 is 27. Getting?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so have you got the, so I have already given you the solution of two programs, 4.19 and 4.20. So if you ask me, then only I can give you. Sorry. So try more that programs, whatever the program that have given to you, which will try it by yourself. Okay, Pramod also saying tomorrow we will send it. Yes, Saurabh is also saying. Okay, so tomorrow, up to tomorrow 4 p.m. Your new deadline is there. You have to send all the program. Actually, it takes only 15 to 20 minutes to complete the program. If you 15 to 20 minutes, if you know all the logic, if you know all the basics, then 15 to 20 minutes is very enough to solve the whole programs. Okay, so today we will see the new topic that is inheritance. Actually, the next topic is operator overloading, but I will take it afterwards. After completing your these assignments, I'm going to take that operator overloading. So let me start with the new topic, that is your inheritance. Okay, have you heard this word?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what is the meaning of inheritance?
It is defined as acquiring the properties of an object from one class into another class.
Okay, okay. In real world, actually, are you talking about the real life? Then where you have heard this inheritance? In our real life, actually, just don't think about the programming, because the object-oriented programming is very related to our real life. So we have to correlate the things of your C++ in our real life. So what is, where you have actually heard this inheritance in our real life? Inherit.
Probably
Hmm.
the wealth or fortune acquired by the son or the children from their parents.
Yeah, actually, in some cases, actually, some diseases are there. Okay, some diseases are there, and if your grandfather or your father is having that disease, the doctor is saying that when you go to the clinic, actually, and suppose the diabetes has been detected first time, the doctor is always asking that, does your father is having the diabetes, your grandfather is having the diabetes before this? If they have the diabetes, then you definitely have that diabetes. Okay, they conclude that. So they say that the diabetes is inherited disease. Inherited means you are getting the diabetes from your father or from your grandfather. Getting? So it means that some properties of your what class? Your parent class. The some property of your parent class you are getting into a child class, then that type is called as an inheritance. You are inheriting something from your parents, that is the inheritance. Okay, so it is related to our real life. In real life also, suppose if your father is very tall, you are also tall. If your father is short, then you are also short. But suppose in some cases it might happen that if your father is short, you are tall. So which part of which property you have taken? Your mother property. Okay, so mother should be tall then. Okay, so some of the properties you are taking from your father, some of the properties you are taking from the mother. Mother or father is nothing but your parents. Okay, so if some properties you are taking from your parents, then you can say that are my inherited property. Got it? The same concept actually has been implemented in C++. What is the use of it? For example, if we have already written one class, okay, one class is already written, class ABC. Okay, one class is already written, and this class is having some data, or this class is having some functions inside it. And suppose that functions and data is already implemented, and I am already using this ABC class in my software. Now suppose I want some modification into the ABC class. I want some modification. I want to add something new into the ABC class. I want to add one new function, one or two new function into, or I want to add some new data into the ABC class. Then one way is to add the new data here itself, new data, or new function, you can add it here. But what happened here? The basic definition of that class now changes. If you are using the ABC class, before this in your software, and if you are changing the basic behavior of your ABC class, it might affect your software. It might affect your software. The ABC class has been already being used somewhere in your software. So this should not be happen. If the change in your basic definition of your ABC class will affect that remaining implementation of your software, then it is a very, very dangerous one. Okay, so this problem occurred at that time. So what they are doing, they are saying that, okay, I want to design a new class which contains what your ABC contains. Okay, which the new basic, I want to write a new class which is having all the properties and the data of your existing class or the parent class. So can I do this? One way to do this. Second way, first way I have already done. Second way is, what I'm doing, I'm writing XYZ class, and what I'm doing here, all the data and function, I'm copy this and I'm paste it here. There is the second way to that I don't want to disturb ABC basic definition, but the same implementation I'm copy paste into the another class, I'm giving the another name, and now I can add it here, new functions and the new data. Got it? Now it will not affect ABC1. But what is the drawback of this method again? Can you tell me what is the drawback? What is the disadvantage of using this method? If I'm copy paste whatever present in your ABC in your XYZ, what is the drawback or the disadvantage?
More memory space is occupied.
Why more memory space is required?
The same thing is copied into the next
And the
class.
same code actually you are copy paste, same code. Whatever the data function written into the ABC, suppose ABC class is having the line of 1000 lines. The same 1000 lines you are copy paste into your class XYZ. So 1000 lines are repeated there. It requires more memory space to store your exe file. Got it? So we don't have to do this. I don't want to do this then. I don't want to waste my memory. So what to do? The next thing is the third thing that is very, very good to use it, and that is nothing but your inheritance. Use the inheritance. So how to use inheritance? Actually, if I want to inherit, then just I need to put here colon. I need to put here colon, and I want to write here, I want to inherit the ABC class as a publicly. Okay, I want to use the public inheritance there. So it means that whatever the public fields are there is public in the XYZ. What is the protected field? It is protected in the your XYZ class. Got it? So I'm using a public derivation here. So whatever the public and the protected field of your ABC get now ready-madely available in the XYZ. No need to rewrite. No need to rewrite. If you are making the object of XYZ, if you are making the object of XYZ here, XYZ A1 is equal XYZ A1. So you can access the method of the ABC. You can access the methods or the function methods of ABC, as well as using the same object you can access the methods of XYZ. Though that methods of ABC is not declared in your class XYZ, you can still able to access the methods of ABC by using the object of XYZ. Getting? This only happen only because here you are using the derivation. So it means that you are deriving that XYZ class from the ABC. So it means that you are using the existing class to define the new class. You are using the existing class to define the new class. Got it? So it means that XYZ is acquiring the features of the existing class. Getting the point? Yes. So XYZ is having the same data, same function that is available in your ABC. But what is only inherited, we need to first define. Okay. Are you the replicate copy of your father? Are you replicate copy of your father? Are you duplicate copy of your father? The same, if your father and you, so if you stand besides, then do you have the difference between the two? Or is it same, both duplicate? Yes, question, answer. Is it same? Your father and you, are you look like exactly same?
No, sir.
No, you are not looking exactly same. Why you are not looking? Though you are deriving from your father, why you are not looking exactly same? Because some of the properties of your parents you have only inherited. Now what property is not inherited? Can you tell me? What properties from your parent class you have not inherited? That property is not inherited from your father or your parent is called as the private properties. Got it? Private properties and the data. The private things of the parent class is not available inside the derived class. Remember that. So whatever the private declared into the class ABC will not be available into the XYZ class. Getting? That's why you are not very similar like your father. And again, some property you are getting from your parents, but you have also implemented your own functions. Yeah, just like you are implementing that C++, learning C++ function. Your parents might possible that your parents don't know C++, but now you are knowing it. So it means that you are implementing the new function into your object itself. Getting? But properties, some property. Now what properties only inherited? Tell me. what properties of your parent class is inherited in your derived class? Yes,
Public, sir.
public, only public. Now there are three types of access specifier. First one is the
Public.
private. First one is the private. Private means it is only accessible within the class, that is known as a private. Okay. Second one is public. Second is public. Public means anyone can access. Private means only accessible within class. Public means anyone can access. So it means that any other object can also access. Using the object, we can call that methods or data. Okay. Now third access specifier is called as a protected. Protected is very similar like your private. Some part of private and some part of public. So it is half of private, half public. Half private means protected field cannot be accessed by using object. Okay, protected field cannot be accessed by using the object. So if there is some protected field available in your XYZ, you cannot access by using A1 object. Okay, so protected field cannot access using the object, but protected field can be inherit. Getting? Protected field can be inherit. The protect, now whatever the protected field of ABC can be available, or it is available in your XYZ, not can be, it is available inside the XYZ. So here what the XYZ contains, the XYZ contains the public, data, and the methods or the functions, methods of ABC, and again it contains the protected data and methods of ABC, and it does not contain, it does not have access to private data and methods of ABC. Getting? These 3 points are very, very important. Now which data is inherited? Remember that public and protected data is only inherited. Okay, if you are using public inheritance, there are 3 types of inheritance: public inheritance, protected inheritance, and the private inheritance. So we will see one by one. Okay, so in case of public inheritance, actually public becomes public in your XYZ, protected becomes protected in your XYZ. Okay, getting?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so are you getting why actually we generally do the inheritance? So in inheritance, the derived class acquire the properties of base class. Okay, now base class, parents class, these are the synonyms. Okay, derived class, child class, these are the synonyms. Okay, sometimes I call it as a derived, sometimes called as a child class. Okay, now this ABC is called as base class or parent class. Why it's called base class or parent class? Because it is not derived from any class. It is an original implementation. It is not derived from anyone. It is the first human in the earth. First human in the earth, Adam. First human in the earth, on the earth. Okay. Now the remaining humans are derived from that one. Okay. So class XYZ is inherited from ABC. You can have again one more class which is inherited from XYZ, or it is even inherited from the ABC. Getting? Yeah, just note down that definition of the inheritance. Now we will see the types of inheritance. The types of inheritance. So very first types we will see as a single inheritance. Single inheritance. We will first note down all the types. Single inheritance. Anyone know the remaining types? Single inheritance. Then second one is, do you have that subject, object oriented programming, in your syllabus? In your syllabus, do you have the subject name as object oriented programming or C++? No? Anyone is listening to me? Anyone listening to me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so my question is, do you have the subject name as object oriented programming in your syllabus?
No, sir, we don't have OOPs.
Okay, you don't have.
Yeah, I know this next one. It's something like hierarchical something.
Okay, first is single inheritance. Single inheritance means the same example that we have taken here. Okay, one class, one parent, single inheritance. Multiple inheritance means one derived class, two parents, multiple inheritance. Two or more than one parent, known as a multiple inheritance. Okay, next one is a sorry, hierarchical inheritance. Hierarchical inheritance means one parent, multiple childs. Okay, hierarchical means one parent is there, but multiple childs are there. Multiple siblings are there. Hierarchical inheritance. The next is known as a multi-level inheritance. Multi-level inheritance. Multi-level inheritance means one parent is there. That parent, using that parent, I have derived one class. Okay, now you are deriving that derived class again. You are deriving the derived class. So that is this class ABC, class XYZ you have made with the ABC. Now suppose there is element class. The element class is made with the XYZ. That is known as a multi-level inheritance. And the last one, yes, anyone know last is? Last is the hybrid type of inheritance. Hybrid inheritance. Hybrid inheritance means actually in that type of the inheritance, if you are using a combination of these four types. Suppose you are using multi-level as well as multiple. Then you can say that the type of inheritance I have used in my program is the hybrid type of inheritance. Okay, so generally most of the programs are using the hybrid type of inheritance. Okay, because the relation, we need to give some relation between the different classes, and that relation can be how a hybrid type. Okay, so we'll see one by one. So what do you mean by that? First we will see the single inheritance. Okay, so this is the example of the single inheritance. This is the example of single inheritance. Class ABC, data function is there, then XYZ class is there, which is inheriting from the ABC class. This is the example of inheritance. Single child, single parent, single inheritance. Are you getting the single inheritance? So in a single inheritance, actually the protected and the public field of your parent class get inherited into your base, it is inherited into your derived class. Okay, but the private member of your base class not accessible in your new derived class. Sorry. Now next one is the next type of is the multiple inheritance. Now in a multiple type of inheritance, suppose there are the two separate classes, XY ABC class is there, which is having its own data and its own functions implementation. Now there is no relation between this ABC and XYZ. You can see here no relation between the ABC and XYZ. Its data and functions are different, its data function are different. Now there is a necessity that I want to make a new class. Suppose that name of that my class is the derive class, and I want to make this class with the help of the both classes. That is, derive class should contain the data and functions from the ABC, as well as it should contain the data and function from the XYZ class. Okay, so both classes, data and function, if you want in your class, then you should use here multiple inheritance. So how to do it? Public ABC comma public XYZ, and this is the example of your derive multiple inheritance. Now you can add here the new data and the new functions, but your derive class is having the public and protected method of your ABC as well as your XYZ class, plus its own implementation. So whatever the new implementation plus the implementation of XYZ plus the implementation of ABC that your derive class is having. Okay, getting?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now next one is the next type of inheritance is the, I think, hierarchical inheritance. Now in hierarchical type of the inheritance, actually what happened? There is a one base class, yes, one base class, and using that single base class, you are deriving the multiple derived classes. So that is, this is my first derived class, which I am making from the ABC. Okay. Now here, this derived one is having the public and the protected field of ABC, as well as its new functions and the data, new data and the function from the derived one class. It can now you can make a new class by using the ABC class name as a derive2, which is having the new functions, new implementation. Even you can have the third derive class, which is again derived from the ABC class, which is having its new functions. So it means that suppose if there is a single base class is there, now you want to derive it, you want to make a new class, but there are simple separate definitions are there. Now suppose 3 developers are there. Now 3 developers are saying that, sir, I can modify this class as per my convenience. So what I'm doing, I'm giving that same class to first developer, I'm giving the same class to second developer, I'm giving the same class to third developer, and now the 3 of the developers are working on the same class. That is, he is adding some new functionality according to their convenience. Got it? So derive 1 is having the ABC plus its new invention. Derive 2 is having the ABC plus its new implementation. Derive 3 is having the ABC class plus its new implementation. Got it? Now there are the 3 variants of ABC class now. Getting? This type of the inheritor is known as a hierarchical inheritance.
So I just have one note.
Yes.
If only derived one and public ABC is there, right?
Hmm.
And class derived 2 and derived 3 are not there, okay?
Hmm.
So in single inheritance, you have only class public ABC, but it takes the functions of the class ABC.
Yes.
But derived one, if you write like this, what you've written, that will have new functions and new implementations, not the one of class ABC, or if it'll take class ABC functions and implement new functions.
Yeah, it is inheriting ready-madely available into your derived one class. Yes.
So now if you're written class derived one, right?
Hmm.
So that can be called as single inheritance or hierarchy.
This type of inheritance that you are seeing on your screen, that is called as a single inheritance. If one parent and one base one parent and one child class, it's called as a base. It's called as a single inheritance. If one parent and a multiple child, it's called as a hierarchical inheritance.
So I can
Okay.
write single inheritance either class public ABC or class derived 1 colon public ABC. It's the same, right, sir?
It's the same. It's the same.
Okay,
Just
sir.
see the difference. This is single inheritance. This is hierarchical inheritance.
Yeah, got it.
Okay. So just think about your parent is having the only son. Single inheritance. Okay. And if your parent is having the 3 sons, hierarchical inheritance. Getting?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So others? Any other having the doubts? Okay. So this is the kind of your hierarchical. Now next one is the multi-level inheritance. Now in a multi-level inheritance, actually what happened? Base class is there. The base class, using the base class, I have derived the class, new class. Yeah, single inheritance I have done. Okay. Now I have to add something new into the derive one class itself. Now what is derive one class? It is a ABC implementation plus its own implementation. Okay. Now I have to add the something new into the derive one. I don't want to add the into ABC only. I want to derive this derive one. So what I'm doing? I'm making the new class using the derive one class. Getting? Parent, derive class, and its own again, that class is again derived. So you can add something new into the derive one class. So what the derive 2 contains now? Derive 2 contains the derive one function plus ABC function.
So
Got
that will
it?
be
That is known as a multi-level inheritance. That is known as a multi-level inheritance. Now, if you want to again add something new into the derive 2, you can still add it by again deriving the derive 2 class. This is called as a multi-level inheritance. So there are the different levels. This is the, what is this? This is called as a one fresh definition. Okay, for one fresh definition, version 1. Okay, version 1. Second one is, now you have added something new into that version software. Okay, you added the new something that is known as a version 2. Okay, now you think that no, I can add one more thing inside that particular thing, that version 2. I am making the third version of that program, version 3. So one new implementation again you are adding, that is version 4. Got it? It is just like you are getting updates from your app, from your Android app. You are getting the updates now. Every time you are getting updates here also. This is your fresh app that you have installed first time. If you are getting update, it means that something new added, that is known as your derived class. Third time you are getting a new updates again, it means that something again new added into your application or your Android app. Again you are getting updates, you are adding. So the updates are adding depending on the user performance or user feedback. Actually the new implementation are always added into your existing classes. So that's implementations are called as a multi-level inheritance. So are you getting the point? Or if you have a very small doubt, then you can ask me. I can clear very small doubt also. Yeah, getting this multi-level inheritance.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now just take the fifth type of the inheritance, and that is known as a hybrid inheritance. The hybrid inheritance means if you are using 2 or 3 type of the inheritance that we have studied earlier in your implementation, then that is known as a hybrid inheritance. Just like, what is the first one? There is the single inheritance. Okay, derive 1. Okay, now derive 2, this class is there. Or simply what I can do, 1 derive 2 is also inherited from this one. So tell me up to what, up to this, what is the type of inheritance? Only these 3. Look at the first 3 only. 1 base class and 2 derived classes.
Multi-level, so
Not multi-level. It is not multi-level.
okay.
1 base class and 2 childs. It is ABC. It is derived from same class. It is the hierarchical inheritance. It is a kind of hierarchical inheritance. 1 base class and multiple childs class, known as a hierarchical inheritance. Okay. Now what I'm doing here, okay, now what is the kind of inheritance here? Derive 1 comma derive 2. Okay, okay, now what is the kind of inheritance here? Look at these 3. There are 2 base classes, derive 1, derive 2. These are the base classes now, and derive 3 is the child class now. 1 child class, 2 base classes. This derive 1 and derive 2, I am deriving into the derive 3. So that is derive 1 and derive 2 are inheriting into the derive 3. So what is the kind of inheritance here? Yes, it is the multiple. It is a multiple inheritance. Multiple. If there are the more than 1 base classes are there, always remember that. If there are more than 1 base classes are there for that class, it is always the multiple inheritance. You can see here all the list is here. If it is more than 1, it is a multiple inheritance. Multiple. 2 base classes, multiple. Single base class, single base class, single inheritance. But if you see this whole 3 1, then it is known as a hierarchical inheritance. Now this is the kind of hierarchical plus multiple. Hierarchical plus multiple. So two type of the or two kind of the inheritance have been used in this program. 2 kind of inheritance. So this type of the inheritance is known as a hybrid type of inheritance. Getting? If in your program, if more than 1 type of the inheritance has been used, then that kind of the program, that kind of inheritance is called as a hybrid type of inheritance. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I have shared you that PDF. Have you gone through it?
Yes, sir.
That chapter 4 PDF. In that chapter 4 PDF, actually, I have mentioned all these things. Yeah, extending classes using inheritance. Okay. You can see here. Now, first one, single inheritance. Now here, A and B, only 2 classes are there, and the its example is also given. Okay. Now, next one is the multiple inheritance. Yeah, B1 is derived from D and B2. D is derived from B1 as well as B2. Okay, so D is having the 2 base classes. So the multiple inheritance. You can see here class D is having the B1 as well as B2 as a base classes. Okay, so this is the real example, employee and employee union. So employee info is having the employee as well as the employee union base classes. Multiple inheritance. Multi-level means base class is there, one more intermediate class is there, and one more derived class is there. So B is derived from A, C is derived from B, known as a multi-level inheritance. Got it? So when a class is derived from another derived class, if the class is derived from the derived class, known as a multi-level inheritance. Okay, So syntax is also given here. Okay, so here typing mistake. Huh? Here it should be B. Page number 6, just correct here. It should be B here, page number 6. Then next one is the hierarchical inheritance. In hierarchical inheritance, when one class is inherited by more than one classes, when one class inherited by the more than one classes, it is known as a hierarchical. In other words, you can say that if one class is having, if one base class is having the more than one derived classes, then it is called as a hierarchical inheritance. Okay, so there are 3 forms, or you can even compare the hierarchical inheritance with your siblings. So you can say that B, C, D, these are the siblings, and the A is the parent node. Okay, A is parent and B, C, D, these are the sibling nodes. Hierarchical inheritance. Okay, syntax is given here. Class A, class B also inherited from A, class C also inherit from A, class D also inherit from A. Okay, the next one is the hybrid inheritance. In a hybrid type of inheritance, actually you can use here, this is the single type of inheritance, and this is the B, D and C. The C is made from B as well as D. So this is the multiple type of inheritance. C is this one is multiple, this is the single. So the type of the inheritance is here hybrid type of the inheritance. Okay, so just you need to remember this, all the diagram or the types of the inheritance. Now there is one more thing we need to discuss here: base class visibility. Generally we have used the base class visibility as a public here. Example that we have seen as a base class visibility we have used as a public. But what happen if you are using the base class visibility as a protected? What happen if you are using the base class visibility as a private? Okay, so that this table will help you. Okay, so if the base class visibility you are using as a private, so instead of using here public B, if you are using class D public B, first we will see what happen if you are using public B. If you are using public B, then the public field of your base, public field of your base class is available public in your derived class. So public remains public, and the private is private actually. Or in other words, we can say that here in a public derivation, actually public becomes public, and the protected also becomes protected. In case of private inheritance, generally there is no use of private inheritance, but still it is there. If you are using private B, it means that here the private is not inherited, public is inherited, but that public field becomes private in your class D. Public field becomes the private in your derived class. Public field becomes the private in your derived class. And in case of the protected inheritance, protected derivation, if you are using protected derivation, then private is not inherited, protected is inherited, but protected becomes private. In your derived class, and the public becomes the protected in your derived class. Protected become public in your derived class. Okay, so that table actually I will share you on your WhatsApp group, by which you can get it. That has to be remembered only. There is no point that what is the technique. The technique is only that the private never inherit. Okay, never inherit. But if there is a public derivation you are using, it is as it is inherit. That is, the public field of your base class become public in your derived class. Okay. Next one is protected field of your base class becomes protected in your derived class. So that's it. So public is done. Next one is the protected derivation. In a protected derivation, what happened? The protected field of your base class become private in your derived class, the public field of your base class becomes private. Public field of your public field of your base class becomes the protected field of your derived class. Okay, so public becomes protected, protected become private, and private is not inherited in if you are using protected derivation. And if you are using here private B, then what happened? Private is not inherit, protected is also not inherit, but public is only inherited, but that public is only you can access within the derived class only. You cannot access outside the class. It means that it become a private member of your derived class only. Okay, so actually I have one table. This table is somewhat, I need to revise this table because only two derivation is added here, public and private. I am again adding one more table here, and I will resend you this whole again. Some I can see here some editing also it requires. Okay, so I will share you this edited copy of this PDF again one more time. I think I have seen one mistake here. Okay, so where is that mistake? Page number 6 now.
Page number 6.
Yeah,
B.
page number 6. Yeah, it should be B. Okay, so that changes I will do, and I will share you the fresh copy of that PDF itself. Okay, but the very important thing is, if you want to remember this inheritance concept before starting the programming, all the theory you should be study. Yes, Chandramohan, I got your mail. Assignment 1 and assignment 2 both I am getting. Okay, so today's assignment is those who have not completed the assignment, they had to complete. Otherwise, if you have already completed, then, and for others also, the assignment is just type in inheritance in C++, and whatever the you are getting the theory regarding to the C++ inheritance, you just have to read it out from different sources. Okay, so this W3 School, it is one of the very good website, but some limited theory is given. So you have to go for Geeks for Geeks, this W3 School, Tutorial Point, Program Viz. Okay, so only theory you have to learn. Then I will tell you the programs related to that inheritance again. Okay. Yes, so are you getting that point?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so again revise it. So if you revise today only, then you will only able to remember this inheritance concept, because it is a very important concept regarding to Java, again Python. For every language it requires, for every language that inheritance concept is there. Somewhat some concept has been removed, just like your C++ support multiple inheritance, but the Java doesn't support multiple inheritance. Your Python supports multiple inheritance. So in some language it is something added, something removed. Okay, so but C++, if you study the C++ OOP, then learning the new language, that is Java language, is only matter of only 5 to 10 days only. In a 5 to 10 days you learn the whole Java language, but one condition, C++ should be thoroughly you have to study. Yes, okay. So I will stop today because the theory I have covered. The programming I am not starting today. I will share you some basic program of the inheritance, basics program, some basic programs. Only implementation part, there is no such a difficult part is there. I will share you, and then you have to complete it. Okay, so any other doubts you can ask me.
So the theory which you gave in the PDF, is that enough theory?